body, come on. Into the body, nice 1-2 combos. 1-2 combos, knock the wind out of her. That's it. That's it, now move back, let's hook now, hook, right hook. Go, hook, and again, hook. Now into the body, hit them hard and low and hard, come on. That's it. Good movement. Time.
Been dealt a knockout after Scottish star Jack Bain was reportedly arrested on suspicion of murder. Bain was just days away from his biggest ever bout, but he's been detained after a brutal attack on his longtime manager, William Maxwell. It's thought that Bain called the police after Mr. Maxwell was left for dead at an office block on Westley Drive, and his body discovered with multiple injuries in what was reportedly a frenzied attack. What was known as the victim's successful sports management business has now become a crime scene.
8 days away from the fight I was, when it started. I thought it was a joke, you know, someone taking the piss. If you know what's good for you, you'll throw the fight. Do not involve the pigs. Don't speak to the press. Just do what you're told. I didn't think much of it, if I'm honest. But I got a message the next day, and the next. Throw the fight. This is my Rocky Balboa moment. Only thing I was losing was my patience.
Bill contacted me on Tuesday, I think it was. Couldn't believe it when I found out it was going to be Jack Bain. Never had a celebrity case before. To be honest, I was a little fucking starstruck.
Bill, my manager. I told him, aye, he was a good lad. I could trust him. He hired this private investigator boy. Bit of a fanny if you ask me, but said he had some dealings in the past with him and he was worth a shout being so close to the fight and all, you know.
Anyone that knew Bill knew he had a problem. It was common knowledge. I just didn't realise it was to this extent. I didn't have to dig too deep. I did feel bad about contacting Jack directly, but given the circumstances, you understand.
Hogan, the private eye guy, contacted me and said he had some information he'd stumbled upon. Wanted me to take seriously. No easy when you can't take him seriously.
Don't get me wrong. Bill's always been a mate, but the client's of the utmost importance. Obviously I felt bad, but business is business.
He produced some rather interesting information. Developments, if you will. I mean, we all know Bill was a bit of a Jack the lad. But I didn't know he was a degenerate fucking gambler. Owed more than just a few quid to the travelling type down Birmingham way. Dirty gypsy bastards. I mean, let me put it this way, right? I'm no Carol Vorderman, but I can sure put 2 and 2 together. I had to. Had to see what he had to say for himself. Someone beat me to it.
The call was received at approximately 18:37 and a unit was dispatched immediately.
Couldn't fucking believe it. Still can't, to tell you the truth. It's fucking devastating. fucking devastating.
He was present at the scene when we arrived. I recognised him, of course. I'd seen him a million times. He was edgy, confused, nervous. A far cry from how he normally acts. You know, bold, brash.
I've seen my fair share of violence, but this was on another level. Whoever done this meant to kill. I phoned the police as soon as I found him.
Fatal trauma to the head by way of blunt instrument, multiple stab wounds to the chest and back, penetrating heart, lungs and liver, causing massive hemorrhage. Abrasions and bruising to the upper torso, dislocated jaw, multiple broken ribs.
It just goes to show you how a man can act when he's being portrayed by those closest to him.
Before one could draw their own conclusion, I was held up in some hot, sweaty interview room with the manliest busy you'd ever clapped your eyes on.
We took him in for questioning, but no, I wouldn't say he was a suspect. It was simply procedure at this point. He demanded he call his solicitor, Woods.
Jack was a good lad. He was a fine, upstanding member of the local sports community. He'd had his problems in the past, but who doesn't? I'd represented him once before for something trivial, but this time wasn't trivial. This time was different.
She was like a dog with a bone, that copper. 8 hours of fucking questioning. Worse than a bird when you've no come home after a night out in the sauce.
I knew I was going to have to earn my keep. They had arrested him by 6 o'clock the following morning, and this was ultimately going to be an uphill battle.
Around dawn the next morning, we arrested Mr. Bain for the murder of Mr. Maxwell. By now, there was no doubt in my mind. What is it that they say? Violence is as violence does.
DNA at the scene, on the weapon, on the body, no alibi. Christ, I started to believe I was guilty. My barrister, though, he was clued up. I had every faith.
Honestly, I had very little faith.
We were going to trial, and I'd make it my mission to be his toughest opponent.
That copper, she was convinced it was me. Look, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt with the DNA and that, but I didn't do it. I didn't kill him. And that's the bottom line.
By the time the case started, the media circus had well and truly rolled into town. They were calling it the boxer, the barrister, and the beast. I'm not sure how Detective Fox felt about that, but me, I would have taken anything that was playing into our corner. I'm sure the media meant it with the best of respect, though.
The last thing I wanted was a trial by media. They were painting him as some sort of misunderstood national treasure. Pfft, laughable. A jury gets a sniff of as much as a headline and it's as good as case closed. Juries are fickle and foolish, as are those that trust them to deliver justice.
Day after day I stood in that dock as they dragged my name through the fucking mud, ripping apart every shred of dignity I had. Ex-birds questioned, business associates, you name it. And the press had thought all their Christmases had come at once.
I couldn't have asked any more of the prosecution. They had him well and truly on the ropes. And he certainly wouldn't last the full 12 rounds. Couldn't help but pity the poor bastard.
We'd well and truly reached the point of no return. I'd nothing left. Their team had challenged their defence repeatedly, and still Jack continually asserted.
I didn't do it. What more could I say? Did they want an interpretive dance or something? No. Because I'm no the dancing type anyway, even if you are asking.
I had to give evidence in the case. Done it millions of times before, of course. Nothing this important. It's kind of exciting, really. What's her name? Detective Fox, yeah, she was fucking brutal. Her reputation certainly preceded her. I'm not gonna lie, he was up shit creek without a paddle. Case was watertight.
Something had to give. I called a halt in proceedings for social and psychological assessments. I wanted to make sure that we were covering all the bases and left absolutely nothing to chance.
Whatever Woods was playing at didn't sit well with me. Mr. Justice Martin ordered the trial to be suspended until further notice. Unbelievable.
So I guess this is what you'd call the comeback.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. They found him not guilty.
You see, after much examination and observation, this country's finest concluded that this luckless chap suffered from a condition called dementia pugilistica. It's a neurological disorder, often associated with boxers as a result of years of blows to the head. It results in paranoia, fits of rage, and ultimately blackouts. The blackmail situation, it simply didn't happen, formulated in the mind of a paranoid individual. Sure, it answers questions about the murder of Mr. Maxwell, who was undoubtedly killed in a fit of rage. Is Jack Bain responsible for this brutal murder? In normal circumstances, yes, undeniably. But how can the man be responsible when the mind is not?
Told you all along, didn't I? Didn't do it.